Peeps Galucia here, bringing you the second episode of How to Subnautica. And as I said in the last episode, we are going to immediately head out so that we can build the Sea Moth. That is going to be the big key for today's success. For those of you that missed the first episode, I highly recommend that you go watch that, as this is a how-to and you want to watch it from the beginning. But for your really quick recap, here is basically my total inventory of everything that I currently have going for me. And today, we lucked out again because the LifePod 17 message actually puts us very close to where we actually want to go to most likely find the Sea Moth. And if we hadn't already found it by pure luck, the mobile vehicle bay that we need to make it.
Seismic readings suggest a quantum detonation has occurred in the Aurora's drive core. The central dark matter reactor will reach a supercritical state in T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Alright, tutorial or not, I always like watching the explosion of the Aurora when that finally goes. So, as we head down to Pod 17, you'll see right away, we've got Sea Moth fragments. This area is loaded with them. We shouldn't have a problem finding a Sea Moth down here. Now, if we look in the surrounding area around 17, you'll see that it doesn't have one of those nifty boxes that has some sort of thing in it. The main thing about it is that it shows us this. Pretty much every life pod is there for a reason. Every life pod is a clever technique that the game developers are using to steer you towards certain areas that are interesting or useful. So in the case of Life Pod 3 from the last episode, it gave us necessary things like the Sea Glide fragment that we needed and stuff like that. But in the case of Life Pod 17, it shows us this huge chunk of wreckage that is going to give us a lot of blueprints. Even just from the outside, before we even make our way into it, we're going to find a lot of blueprints. I highly recommend that you search the surrounding area before going in very closely, as there is a lot of things in here. Okay, so we got the bioreactor, which is one of the things you're going to typically get here. It's not out of the norm to find that here. There's going to be more bioreactor pieces inside. Again, we lucked out. We had a random piece from earlier. But if we hadn't, then we would have been able to get more from the inside. So there's two ways into here. There is going to be a lot of frou-frou stuff that you don't need for survival, like this desk, like this chair. There's a fair amount of that kind of stuff in here that's not necessary for survival. Again, like I said from the last episode, if you're purely interested in survival and speed running through this game as fast as possible, then you definitely want to skip that stuff. It does make things take a little longer. Now, this place gets a little tight. There's a lot of crevices, so make sure that you don't kind of lose yourself in here and get too wrapped up in what you're doing, because you'll easily drown. I mean, you can see this whole place is just loaded with bioreactor pieces. I mean, at this point, we could have researched it 3 times over. Part of this whole maze I'll show you now is the vent system that's under the staircase. It's pretty tricky. It's insanely easy to get lost in there and drown. Again, wouldn't hurt for me to have more air, but see, there's a tear here, and then you can see this vent. This is where I'm finding a lot of pieces, actually. But again, there's a lot of bioreactor stuff in here, and I don't see a lot of stuff besides that, except for this data terminal, which is obviously pretty screwed up. But the prawn suit fragment's kind of cool, but we really don't need that because we're going to get that from the Aurora like no problem. So I was a little bit disappointed that we weren't able to find the Sea Moth pieces. That area tends to have them just kind of littered around, but I only found the one by Pod 17. There's a lot of locations to go to, though, that do have the Sea Moth pieces, so we're going to have to go to a different one of those really quick. Not a big deal. But in the meantime, we can at least make the mobile vehicle base so that once we go grab it, then we'll be ready to go. So what I did is I grabbed a whole bunch of the pod seed dillyfangos so that I can make lubricant and silicon rubber. Oh, that bugged out. This locker was full of titanium from the last save, and now it's completely empty, and I definitely didn't use it. That's my butt. Alright, well, dang it. It is still in the works. Definitely a huge downside, though, is that this game does have bugs. If you remember the last episode, I lost my knife due to a bug. So I did have to go and remake my knife, which I have now. But now apparently I also have to regather some titanium because I lost an entire locker full of it. These are the sort of things that are going to happen. It'll obviously slow you down. Don't let it get you down, though. It's just one of the things that you're going to have to deal with if you want to play a really awesome game like Subnautica early on before it's 100% done. Having said that, though, I do feel like it's close to being done. I feel like a lot of the content is in this game, and at this point, it's just a lot of bug fixes and optimizations. So, you know, high hopes. So, one of my favorite places to look for copper is this huge coral tube. It has a ridiculous amount of highly concentrated limestone, so this is the place to go. It's, again, like most things, it's kind of hard to explain exactly where it is, but I'll pop up to the surface directly above it. Just pay attention to the surroundings and pay attention to its relative distance away from the aurora, and that'll honestly give you, like, your best guess as to, like, where we are. Oh, we got some lead, too. But all we needed was a couple pieces of copper, but I figured while I'm down here, I'm just going to load up on the stuff, and hopefully it doesn't glitch away. But pop. So you can see we're not too far from the aurora. If I look straight at it, like, I'm basically looking right at the engines, and it's a pretty long tube from the top of it. Like, it's just like looks like this long hill. So try to get that into your brain, because that's going to be like your go-to place whenever you need copper and titanium for that matter. I mean, the pieces of titanium you're going to get from scrap metal is usually more reliable, but when you randomly go there to pick up the copper, you're going to randomly pick some of that up, too. Oh, I guess our inventory is full. I figured I would get some titanium, but that is not an option. I'm taking the scenic route, because this area is one of the areas that will have Sea Moth pieces. There it is, yes. May as well hang out here for a minute and see if we can find the other one. So not too far away from that tube that you saw. And sort of on the way to Pod 4. Much closer to the ship, obviously. I believe this area is actually in the radiation danger zone, where you would need the suit ahead of time before you could deal with it. But, as you can see, Sea Moth fragments aplenty. So we are actually good to go. Super excited about that. Biohazard trash can. I'm not gonna lie to you, I've never found one of these before. Found the regular trash can, not the biohazard one. Huh. Yeah, there's enough Sea Moth fragments here that we could have gotten a Sea Moth with this one location alone. So, nice little bed of debris there. Got the job done. Now we can go ahead and build both the mobile vehicle bay and the Sea Moth, which again was the whole point of today. We're going to gain the mobility in today's how-to so that we can get just one or two more pieces that we're going to want. We're going to want the laser cutter and the propulsion cannon to go into the Aurora. That way we have a full set of equipment for everything that we're going to run into inside of the Aurora. So those are the last two pieces that we need to pick up, and then we'll be ready to go. And with the Seamoth, that'll be a lot easier. So there you have it. We've got our mobile vehicle bay, and I'm just going to go ahead and pop this right away on the surface so that you can see everything that's needed to build. Dang it. Thank God that's not a bug anymore. It used to be that if your inventory was full and you made something like that that wouldn't fit, you were done for. It's just like, well, sucks to be you. You're not going to have it anymore. Ow! The hell just attacked me? Son of a bitch. Come at me, bro. How's it feel? How's it freaking feel? Yeah. Not so tough now, are ya? Alright, so, quick note, be careful where you place this for when you go to build something more large like the Cyclops. If it's here in the shallows, your Cyclops will take damage because it's going to hit the things, and then it may get stuck and not be able to get out. But so we need a titanium ingot, another power cell, 2 glass, and lubricant. Not too difficult. Those are obviously all things that we've built before already. So we're going to get to work on that. We're also going to see what this message is.
Aurora, this is Sunbeam again. We just picked up a massive debris field at your location. I didn't know how bad, how many of... I didn't know. We're now en route to your location. We're gonna bring you home. Sunbeam out. What else can I say? We're a 6-seater, and we aren't even slightly equipped to handle this? Our pilot last attempted a planet landing in the Academy simulator. Oh, it's a bad situation, but so are all the alternatives.
So I already have 1 piece of glass and enough to make another. I already have the lubricant because I anticipated this ahead of time. So we just need to get more battery going. 2 batteries to be in fact, which I have enough to do. So let's just go grab our mushrooms. I've exceeded my weekly exercise quotient by 500%. Good for me. I am on it. Okay, and then I don't believe I have any silicon rubber. No. So we'll go make some of that really quick. So there you go. Titanium ingot, power cell, 2 glass, and a lubricant gives us our Sea Moth. So, for about 30 minutes of gameplay, again, just like the first episode, a lot more progress has been had. We got some more blueprints that we didn't have before. A lot of decorative blueprints, but also the battery charger and the bioreactor. We completed our blueprints for the Sea Moth so that we could build both the mobile vehicle bay and the Sea Moth. So a lot of progress in 30 minutes, if I do say so myself. I feel like we are moving right along. So the next episode, we're going to head out to Life Pod 4 now that we have a better mode of transportation. We're also going to head out to the next Life Pod besides 4, because we should have another message coming in soon about one. There you go. That's for 19. Ooh, and that's a good one. That's a difficult one to get to. That is pretty difficult to get to. We're actually going to have to be really careful getting to Life Pod 19, but the point of Life Pod 19 is it does get us an interesting blueprint. It also gets us really close to the island so that and it actually mentions the island. So in hopes that as a player you say, oh, an island? I don't know this island you speak of. Perhaps I should go look into it. So, old fish. Yum. So, that is something that we can do next episode, but I don't think we will because I don't remember there being any of the things that we actually need to get on the Aurora, which is still my biggest point. The island is mostly good for shelter. It's mostly good for habitat building, which we're not doing quite yet. I do want to get my stuff together so that I can get into the Aurora. So, great episode in my opinion. Hopefully everyone agrees we made some great progress. I hope that this continues to be helpful and that everyone enjoys the series. So let me know what you think of it so far, if this has been helpful for you, if you you know, have the game and you're saying, hey, this is really good, like, I'm going to try to go about it this way. Or if you don't have the game and you're like, maybe I should get this and give it a go. Also, let me know what future games you want me to cover when I'm done with Subnautica for the How To series. I have a lot of games that I really love, and I'm sure at least some of the ones that you mentioned will be ones that I could do a How To for. So by all means, put those in the comments below. Let me know what it is you'd be interested in. Thanks again for watching, everybody. I appreciate the view and support as always, and I will see each and one of you on the next episode.